Did you know that there are 15 million millionaires in the world? Yeah, I know you want to be a millionaire, and many of us do. But there are some underlying skills and traits that millionaires have mastered. And unless you're going to get rich by luck or chance alone, mastering as many of these should become a priority to you. Because the more you stack these skills on top of each other, the bigger the success, the shorter the time, and the more it will look like magic to everyone else. So without further ado, here are 11 skills that millionaires master. Number 1, independent thinking. If I'm being honest, I think society is kind of screwed up because the pressure it puts on the individual to obey, to fit in the mold, to just be another pixel making up the most boring picture in the world. Listen, you can't follow your dreams if your dreams are being decided by everyone else. Millionaires and billionaires, for that matter, are strong, independent thinkers. They decide to do things that pretty much everyone else would go against. Millionaires often have an entrepreneurial mindset. Well, they'll say, I'm going to risk everything just to start this business. And then you're going to have your Joes and Schmoes saying, oh, don't do it, you're going to end up miserable. But take a step back and just freeze the frame. Who do you think is more miserable? The person sitting in their cubicle under fluorescent lights, living off of vending machine snacks, or the one who's doing what they love and found a way to monetize? Rich people reject the standards of society altogether. Why do you think we call them eccentric billionaires? The moment you stop letting people think for you and do it yourself, you're gonna realize how hard but exciting it is to finally decide what you want in life. And that brings us to skill number 2. Refusal to accept anything but success and an almost blind confidence. The more time I study millionaires, the more I see how similar they all are. They all have this sense of just completely blind confidence in themselves, where they believe that anything they put their minds to will turn out in their favor. They are actively writing their future to the work, actions, project ideas that just flows through them. Their mindset is, I'm 100% confident in my success because I'm the one in charge of my actions. Failure, or even throwing in the towel, is something that they're not even remotely considering. Because why would anyone quit at something that they know is capable of fulfilling their dream? Those of you that have this sort of confidence know exactly what I'm talking about. It's this fire just burning so strong inside of you, and you know you'd rather die than give up on your goals. And that's what fuels super successful people. Skill set number 3. Compounding everything using multipliers. There isn't anything more powerful in life than compounding using multipliers. And no, I'm not talking about putting your money in the bank and letting it sit for 50 years. Rich people compound everything, including themselves. If you as a person grew in skill set 20% every year, in 4 years, you'll be twice as valuable. Successful people continuously compound themselves. They constantly invest in themselves to the point where it may seem crazy to outsiders. Why else would Warren Buffett, one of the richest people in the world, spend 80% of his day reading and growing and learning? And it's because it's all an investment in his decision-making process. And he is not the only millionaire to do this. Bill Gates reads 50 books a year. Elon Musk, an avid reader, was once asked, how can you build rocket ships? And he said, well, I read. Mark Cuban reads 3 hours a day. And the richest woman in the world, Francois Bettencourt Myers, reads, well, pretty much all day too. The moment you begin to compound yourself actively, it's only a matter of time before your value increases. If you want to get rich in life, you need to own things that grow in value rapidly, including yourself. And that brings us to number 4, risk tolerance. There's this big misunderstanding that entrepreneurs are risk takers. People think that they all put it on the line. They flip a coin, they sell their souls to the devil. And yeah, like I said, that cannot be further from the truth. To become rich, you need to actually minimize risk to a point that it's acceptable. And that is one of the incredible skills that millionaires really focus on. Looking at the world through the lens of risk is really life-changing. And that's because there is risk in everything we do. There's a risk when we go in the car. There's a risk when we cross the street. But what do? We put on a seatbelt. We have airbags installed. We make sure we pay attention. And no matter how much we may believe that our lives are in the hands of God, we still look both ways before crossing the street. Millionaires and billionaires learn how to manage risk and, even more importantly, give themselves an edge. If the probability of success was a 51% chance and failure was 49, every single time entrepreneurs will take the shot, while most people wouldn't even risk it. Your job when becoming rich is to turn the odds in your favor. And the only way you can do that is through growth. And that brings us to skill number 5, sales and marketing. In this world, you're either selling or being sold, and either way, you get to make the choice of which side you're on. Now, I know that sales get a bad rep. That's because the average person imagines a selfie stick selling person in the middle of a tourist trap. But that's not it. Selling is basically really good communicating. You sell your partner into giving you a chance to go on a date. You sell your boss into giving you a job, and you sell the customer into buying your product. It literally doesn't matter how smart or fancy of a person you are. If you are unable to sell, you are absolutely not in business. And also, on this note, marketing is like sales, but on steroids. Through marketing, you reach everybody, and anyone who vibes with your vibes is going to come over to you and spend their money and make you rich. Marketing is what makes a plain white t-shirt with the word Supreme on it cost 50 times more than it really should. Marketing is why PepsiCo will absolutely never catch up to Coca-Cola, despite the fact that it spends twice as much on marketing. If you're looking to develop sales skills that millionaires value, the best book I've been able to find is called Influence: The Psychology of Persuasion, written by Robert Cialdini. I'll just leave the link in the description so that you guys can buy it if you're interested. And now it's time for skill number 6, leadership. Every millionaire is a leader. And leadership is kind of like an advanced form of selling. But not only are you communicating really good, you are also inspiring. You need to be a uniter. Leaders need to motivate how to take responsibility and initiative when the time gets tough. Skill number 7, emotional intelligence. And I just want to start by saying EQ is more important than IQ. And that's why you see really smart people living miserable lives filled with regrets and angst. They're not successful, they're not happy, and they're not doing what they like. Emotional intelligence is one of those skills that millionaires use to navigate society. The more you understand, the better the experience you'll have when you're alive. Because nobody cares how many digits of pi you can memorize. Nobody wants to know how much amounts of Googleable information is stored in your head. Millionaires understand motivation, tone, diplomacy, body language, tact, empathy, and everything related to emotional intelligence. Now, most of this stuff can be learned just by paying attention to the people around you. Like Theodore Roosevelt once said, "People don't care what you know unless they know how much you care." And that's why rich people prioritize emotional intelligence over bulk information any day of the week, because it is so much more valuable. Now, it is time for skill number 8, goal setting and planning. Every person who's rich made it their plan and goal. They literally asked for it. They wrote it down, they made a plan, and they adjusted their plan as needed. And in time, they achieved what they set out to do. The difference between those who made it and those who didn't lies in the approach. Average people have dreams and desires, while rich people have goals and plans. Goal setting and plannings are very important skills, and millionaires know that. You need to know how to break things down play by play. How to self-analyze in order to achieve the things that you want to achieve. I'm actually going to make an entire video dedicated to goal setting and achieving them, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Skill number 9, understanding value. And believe it or not, this is actually a very important skill. Understanding value is very different from understanding cost. And let me just really quickly force the distinction. Cost is how much money you'll take to bring something into reality. Cost of making a chair isn't just the amount of money that you spend on wood. It's the years of practice that the woodworker has put into dedicating into learning their skill. It's the amount of time it took to make it. Average people only look at the material cost. That is wrong. Like a DVD, just the DVD, costs $1. But that doesn't mean that the movie that goes on it should only cost $1 too. Value of something comes from the kind of change that it can bring into your life. And the difference between value and cost is what makes rich people rich. You need to buy things that have a very low cost and then find their value and pay the cost, but then sell it for the value. The entire process is a lot simpler than it seems, but it does require one of the most important skills that a millionaire can possess. Now, skill number 10. Self-motivation, focus, and discipline. Things are going to get difficult. They're going to get boring, and you're going to want to quit many times. That is why self-motivation is very, very important. When trying to become rich, you need to have a list of things. A list of things that you're going to do, a list of people that you're going to help once you're rich. And anytime you feel upset, you just look at that list. You think, okay, I am going to bring so much good into my life and the lives of others once I accomplish this goal. That's why self-motivation is a truly real skill. And maintaining focus in a world full of distraction is a real skill. Getting up and going to work in the morning, even though you absolutely don't want to, just through sheer discipline is a real skill. And now it is time for skill number 11, competitiveness. Successful people are competitive. They need to win, and because of that, they are where they are. The more you study successful people, the more you see this pattern behavior. You need to love the game so much that you're willing to get the highest score for it. Michael Jordan was famously competitive while playing. And the moment he became the greatest of all time, he didn't just quit. He started competing with his previous performances. He created imaginary enemies just to make his drive harder. Business is a competition, and you are literally competing for customers' money, attention, and more. You need to find your space and compete to get yourself in it. And once you do go full strength, you need to dominate the competition. If you made it this far, I have one more skill for you. Thinking big. I think it's an actual problem where people don't think big enough. Even things that we think are big are usually small. It just seems big because of where we are right now. And that's why you believe $1 million is going to be enough for you. And don't get me wrong, it is a lot of money. But once you get it, you're going to want more. It takes the same amount of time and energy and effort to make $1 million as it does to make 50,000. And in today's world, becoming a millionaire is easier than ever. With so many avenues of expression that can create a generous amount of money, there are 15 million millionaires in the world today. If you are serious about becoming one, I hope you focus on developing these skills to possess the wealth you desire. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more videos.